Good morning and welcome to my new YouTube channel. I had to switch to YouTube because Facebook have now stopped me making live videos for the next 60 days and I'm not allowed to comment for 24 hours for violating their community standards. It sort of reminds me of the Waterford Whispers News t-shirt. Jesus, you can't say anything these days. And this is the fucking truth. You can't say anything these days. And this is because people have a right to be offended. You know, they have a right to be offended. And they do have a right to be offended, and they're seriously exercising this right to be offended. But what I'm saying is they're cultivating this culture and this environment where it's sort of fashionable, if you like, to be offended. Everybody, sees everybody else getting offended, and they want to be, they get offended then as well. But what you're creating is this culture of I'm offended, and really, like I was saying in a recent video, that you can't control your thoughts, but I'm adamant about this, that you can't control your thoughts, because once you actually stop trying to control your thoughts, once you actually concede that you can't control your thoughts, then you will stop trying to control your thoughts, because it's not within your control. But if you have all these experts, all these authorities, all these people who know, all these psychiatrists and psychologists and everyone saying the internal world is yours and the external world is not yours to control, but the internal world is yours to control. You can control your thoughts. Well, it's going to cause you an awful lot of frustration trying. Because I have talked with an awful lot of people who get dark thoughts and say, I get dark thoughts. But a lot of frustration comes, anxious thoughts, depressing thoughts. But a lot of frustration comes from trying to control these thoughts and realising that you can't. And can you imagine how much frustration that you have, say, trying to control trying to stop a river? Like you're trying to dam a river with fuck all. Without the means or the ability to dam this river. It's going to cause you an awful lot of frustration. Now, if you actually realise that the internal world and the external world are two sides of the same coin, you will realise that you can't control your thoughts no more than you can control what people say about you or in relation to you, or things that to which you have a right to be offended. But your thoughts are the same. You have a right to be offended. You have a right to be offended, and this is going to impact on your emotional well-being in a big way. For example, your right to defend, your right to be offended is going to cause you to be depressed. Your right to be offended is going to cause you to be anxious. Your right to be offended is going to cause you it's going to impact on your emotional well-being in a lot of ways. So really, what we have to address is this how easily we're offended. Now, I was saying that every decision and every choice and every principle and rule that we make, especially when you're decide to make rules for everybody else, this is going to be challenged in every way. Like every principle, all these unshakable principles that we have are going to be challenged, and often challenged by our own hypocrisy. Now, an example of this is Elon Musk, for example, taking on Twitter and saying that he wants to, his unshakable principle of free speech, and a week later he bans Kanye West from he bans him from Twitter for his anti-Semite views. Now, surely on a platform for free speech, Kanye West can say what he likes, but now obviously Elon Musk, his unshakable principle of free speech was down the toilet in less than a week. So, but like, this is because, and I just want to say something about this. It's okay to insult the African Americans at the moment, and it's okay to insult the Chinese. But it's not okay to insult the Jews because they have a weak constitution in this regard, and they are in a position which they can impose this victim mentality, and they could say, oh, this is completely unacceptable, and anti-Semitic views are completely unacceptable and won't be tolerated. The Muslims used to have this same attitude, but they seem to have relaxed a little bit in this regard. But the Jews haven't relaxed with the victim mentality at all. But this cultivation and support of this victim mentality does nobody any favours. And it doesn't impact too well on the German economy either, but we can talk about that again in another podcast. We have other cultures as well. But I'm just saying that to support to support this victim mentality is not in anybody's interest. As well as it doesn't serve the society very well, supporting any victim mentality, because what you're really supporting is this right to be offended and this right to lick your balls. And of course you have a right to lick your balls, but how is this serving you? You know what I mean? This has to be the question. Well, if I was to sit back and lick my balls, I'm going to be depressed, aren't I? In my current situation, I'm going to be depressed if I start to lick my balls. If I'm going to start saying, oh, I've no money, I've no food, I've no this, I'm going to be depressed. Because your attitude towards the way things is going to determine your emotional well-being. So in fact, I'm going to lick my balls, or cling to any thoughts that are going to. For example, that's why I say I had to edit my newsfeed because, Jesus, sitting with these people who were exploiting this victim mentality because misery loves company, and basically, I said in a recent video that that this exploitation of people's emotional well-being, and I talk about my own hypocrisy in this regard too, because this was challenged in my regard. And basically, we brought up. I was actually contemplating Nietzsche's genealogy of morals, and I just said to myself, well, I'll have to. Jesus, I went into the hypocrisy of the church. Like, for example, the richest organization in the world spewing about a vow of poverty. Basically, we cannot. Possibly we're the richest organisation in the world, but we cannot afford to feed these people. But you feed them, you give them your money. This is virtue signalling, and this is the absolute hypocrisy. You feed them, you give the poor some money, we'll get them fuck all, but you give them some money. In fact, you give us some money as well while you're at it. And this is the church. And that's a fact. And then we have a crusade against masturbation, a crusade against homosexuality, even though they were probably, I can't say for sure, but they were more than likely pulling the stomach out of themselves flat out. And then obviously their lack of self-control in regard to pedestry and homosexuality is evident. We're still peeling off the layers of the onion, but it's evident. So this is more hypocrisy. And I could go on about the hypocrisy of the church. But then Nietzsche then, in targeting the church, was an absolute hypocrite, because Nietzsche said, like, who are the church? Who, in his critique of Christianity, he said, who are the church to give a meaning to suffering? But yet at the same time, Nietzsche said, to those I love, I wish them suffering, because the only thing that matters is that one endures. Now, this is to paraphrase the whole verse on suffering, but Nietzsche himself gave a meaning to suffering, because he said the only thing that matters is that one endures. To everyone I love, I wish them suffering, for this reason, because basically it's an opportunity for growth and development, similar to what I say, it's an opportunity for growth and development. But this is hypocrisy on Nietzsche's part, and then we went on to say, I could elaborate on Nietzsche's hypocrisy, but basically what I saw in Nietzsche, I had to look for in myself. Now, as Nietzsche said, in the death of God, then psychiatry took over, and then I see myself in Nietzsche, because I both attack Christianity and psychiatry and psychology, and I had to say to myself, in my attacks on psychiatry and psychology, do I do this? Do I do this? And I said, my God, I'm a hypocrite. I am a hypocrite. And I now said to myself, well, how do I feel about this? You know what I mean? Am I going to retract back into the depths of my bedroom and lick my balls and say, oh my God, I'm a hypocrite, I'm going to cease in my actions? And I said to myself, no, that's perfectly okay, because this is a part of nature, and I'll accept this as a part of nature, and I will go forth and say, it's like a lad said to me, I said to a lad one time, he said to me, why don't you go and take another egg? And I said, no, I don't want to be seen as a taker. And he said to me, so what? So what? Let them say what you want, what they like. Let them call you a taker. Fuck them. Let them say what they like. And I said, you're right. So, I'm a hypocrite. We have acknowledged the fact, and now we will proceed from here. Good morning.